Love a railroad effect. I love a train. Hi there friends, welcome back to this channel. I wouldn't blame you if you thought it was never coming back. This is actually my first time filming in my room in New York, so welcome to New York. I'm sorry that you're gonna have to deal with some sound. The walls are very thin here, so you might be able to hear my roommate or the noise from the street. So we're gonna have to figure out how to do this and how to film in this apartment. But I'm here with a review of Hadestown, which I saw this past week. It felt like a good time to rebirth this channel because I feel as though I have been reborn through the power of Rachel Chavkin and Amber Gray and even Ablazada and I think you say Anais Mitchell, is that right? I'm really sorry if I pronounced that wrong this whole video. I tried looking up and like couldn't find for sure, but in any case, I saw Hadestown finally at the Walter Kerr. I believe there's been some changes, definitely some design changes since it was off Broadway and since it was at the National in London, but I'm so thrilled to have finally seen it. I have some notes here because I'm afraid to kind of just ramble on and on because I haven't really been able to put into words how incredible this show is. It's definitely the best thing that I've seen from this season, and it definitely deserves its 14 Tony nominations. I think it's just beautiful. If you don't know about Hadestown, it is the story of the Greek myth of Orpheus and Eurydice, which you may know is the story of kind of Orpheus is this guy who goes down to the underworld to try and get his lover back, and Hades makes a deal with him that if she follows him back out and he never looks back at her, he can have her back. But of course he looks back, because men are the worst. I'm sorry, that's sorry, Reef Carney. So that's the basic story, and it's a really interesting musical in that, like, you go in kind of like something like Titanic, where you know what the end is, like, you know, it's kind of like Bonnie and Clyde, like, you know they're gonna die, like, that shouldn't be a shocker, and yet you keep hoping that it's not going to turn out that way. Like you're really still on the edge of your seat, and there's still this really good dramatic tension, which I think is really lovely when people can manage to make that happen even whenever you know the outcome, if you're familiar at all with, you know, Greek mythology and Orpheus. So I want to start by talking about the music, which is insane. It's really unlike any musical I've ever heard from a music standpoint, and its book and lyrics were written by Anais Mitchell. I was actually sitting at the stage door and I looked up at the marquee, and seeing her name and Rachel Chavkin's name on it was really emotional for me, just to see a musical created by two women on Broadway. And it's really stunning music. It's really well suited to the voices in it. It's kind of got a, I don't know how you would class it, like a folksy, like a indie folk rock, non-traditional sound. I don't really even know how to talk about it, but definitely reminds me a bit of Great Comet, also directed by Rachel Chavkin, in that it's kind of a traditional, non-traditional musical. It never feels edgy for the sake of being edgy, but it's definitely not your average Broadway offering. But just really stunning. I will say, like, yes, the plot is a bit light, but it never felt like a problem to me, because they do so much so creatively with the staging, and the music itself is so good. I mean, Way Down to Hadestown is fantastic. I love Eurydice's big solo in Act 2, Flowers. I sobbed through it, which was great. I'm very sorry to the nicely dressed middle-aged couples on either side of me. There's so much good music in it, and every time Amber Gray opens her mouth, like, it's the best thing I've ever heard. It's a lot of melodies that come back a lot, which I really enjoy in a show. A lot of things that aren't per se, like, there aren't that many, I don't think, like, solos. It's a lot of group work, a lot of group numbers, which I also really appreciate in a show. It's stunning, and there is a off-Broadway cast recording, and I think also like a concept album, but we are getting a full Broadway cast recording. It's been recorded already, I believe, and it's coming June 7th, 2 days before the Tonys, so you will be able to listen to that before the Tony Awards. One last thing about the music before I talk a bit about the design, because I want to talk about the design before the actors, who are all phenomenal, but it is a really, really gorgeously designed show, so I want to talk about that first. But I really enjoy the fact that the band is on stage for a lot of it. I love shows where you get to see the musicians, where they get to, you know, wear some sort of costume, and so it was really cool for me to see that. And it's a surprisingly small band, actually, for what I would have expected, for how much or how cool of sounds they're able to make. There's some really fun train sound effects in it. Like, the sound design of it is really cool. I have my playbill here so that I can make sure that I reference names properly. The sound design is done by Nevin Steinberg and Jessica Paz, and it's phenomenal. The lighting design by Bradley King is one of my favorite lighting designs I've ever seen in a show. If you've seen it, there's a bit with some lamps. I don't want to give away exactly what that means for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, but if you've seen it, you'll know that bit blew my mind. Lighting design just overall is really nice. Again, really nice effects with the train down to Hadestown, which I thought was really cool. The scenic design by Rachel Hawk, is that right? Hawk? I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Is phenomenal. If you know me and my musical taste at all, you'll know that I love a good revolve. Nothing makes me happier than a revolve, and this one has one that utilizes really cool. The like set itself is really awesome, but then it like breaks apart in different ways. It's really fun, and it's just super, just incredible. I don't really have words for it. It was really cool actually because my mom and I were over in England in January, and we toured the National Theatre, and we got to see the set on the stage there, and then to see it now on Broadway was really fun to get to finally see it in action, really. And I say action because the set does a lot of moving. It's really phenomenal what they're able to do with it. The costume design as well is fantastic. I kind of can't wait to get through spring and summer so that my fall's winter aesthetic can be Eurydice's costumes. Some really cool like menswear inspired pieces on Eva Noblezada. The costumes that they have on Amber Gray are some of the most stunning ones I've ever seen. The men's suits are super cool, especially the suit that Andre de Shields wears as Hermes is super awesome. And then the Fates dresses are like the coolest set of costumes I think I've seen in a long, long time. And just the costumes overall are such a vibe and so beautiful and stunning. And I'm so happy that I do believe they are nominated for Tonys, because if I could vote in the Tonys, I would give this musical every Tony that it's nominated for. And then I would give Alex Brightman the Best Actor Tony. Yeah, that's what I would do. All right, it's time to talk performances. First, I want to talk about Andre de Shields, who plays Hermes. He is phenomenal. His voice is lovely, his acting is lovely, and when he started to dance, I was like, here we are, this man does it all. But his Hermes is just wonderful, and I wish that his Hermes could guide me through life and tell me what I need to be doing the way that he does for Orpheus, because I could really use that. I literally have written here in my notes, please fix my life, Hermes. Next, I want to talk about Reeve Carney, who I said on Twitter, I think he is like an absolute puppy dog of a human, and his Orpheus is a sweet Hufflepuff boy, and I love him. He is a puppy dog with the voice of an angel. Reeve Carney is so great, and he was so nice at stage door. You might know Reeve from Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, or maybe even from the Taylor Swift I Know You Were Trouble music video. He's done some really cool stuff, but his voice is just like unlike anything I've ever really heard. Like, I was trying to think about like, oh, like this person would be a really good Eurydice, or this person would be a really good whatever, and I couldn't even think of someone who could play Orpheus, because he sings guitar, he plays guitar, he sings beautifully in this like super high key for most of it. I was so impressed. Like, Reeve Carney is not getting the attention he deserves for this, I think, because he really is stunning, and his Orpheus is just a sweet boy that I want to bake cookies. Yeah. For the record, when I'm talking about Eurydice, I think that Rachel Zegler, soon to be star of the West Side Story remake, would be a fantastic Eurydice in a couple of years. I can tell that from now on in my YouTube channel, I'm going to manage to bring up Rachel Zegler in every single video. Okay, I'm going to finish up talking about the men and then go on to the women who have ruined my life. Patrick Page is incredible as Hades. I went to the stage door, like, pretty much because I wanted to see if his speaking voice is as low as it actually is in the show, and it is. Like, can confirm. He also was the nicest man, and he asked like every single person how they were. And he had his dog with them, and I was like, I loved your photos at the Tony thing with your dog. And he was like, oh, I have her with me, do you want to see her? And then he showed us all his dog. I was really shook. In person, he has some like big Mr. Bennett from Pride and Prejudice energy, which I was all about. But his voice is lower than I thought it was possible for a human to be. It's so low I don't really understand it. I love it. It's great. Singing and speaking. He is just this really like formidable, like composed person on stage. Like, I totally buy him as the king of the underworld. He is just so commanding, and he also like sings really lovely, but also when he started dancing in Act 2, I was like, I did not see this coming, sir. Again, like, the men of Hadestown can do anything, I'm barely certain. They're all incredible. And while I'm talking about dance, the choreography in this show is incredible. Okay, so David Newman, I think I think that's how it's pronounced, is the choreographer of Hadestown, and it's stunning. It's a mix of kind of more traditional, like almost like ballroomy style choreography, and then like more contemporary dance, and it's stunning. I didn't really realize that even Noblezada could dance like this, but she's stunning. Everyone in it is stunning. Every time Amber Gray like moved, I was like, I've never seen anything like this before. Like the choreography, I would say, is reason enough to go see this show. I want to talk about Amber Gray. That's actually the theme of my life right now, is I want to talk about Amber Gray. So Amber Gray, basically, give that woman a Tony right now, you cowards. She's stunning. She's ethereal. I had to keep reminding myself to watch things that were not Amber Gray, like, and I feel like that says a lot because Eva Noblezada is one of my favorite actresses of all time, like top 5. And I still kept being like, oh right, I should look and see what Eva's doing, because I was so stuck on Amber Gray every time she was on the stage. She plays Persephone, the, you know, wife of Hades, who is stuck in the underworld for 6 months in the year. And the way that she kind of portrays the consequences of that, the consequences of her deteriorating relationship with Hades, in her drinking and her, you know, kind of abandon, and it's just outstanding. Like, I can't imagine anyone ever doing anything better than this. She has this great comedic timing, but she never loses a sense of like vulnerability. Like, you can see that, yes, she, like, the comedy is there, but it's to mask, you know, these, it's this bad coping mechanism that you're seeing, and her movement is just outstanding, like both the dance and just kind of the overall movement of the character. Like I said before, her costumes are stunning. Like, there's nothing about this performance that isn't incredible. She just gives off such this ethereal energy. Like, Amber Gray, again, another reason, like, I would go see this show just for Amber Gray alone. She's fantastic. She's everything I could have hoped for her to be. I loved Amber Gray as Helene and Great Comet, but dare I say her Persephone is leagues ahead of her Helene. Like, and I didn't think anybody could top that. Finally, I have to talk about Eva Noblezada, my sweet child. I love her so much. I've been a fan of Eva since Miss Saigon, and she is just stunning in this role. Like, her vocals will haunt my dreams forever, I hope. But also she brings this vulnerability and this fierceness and so much to this character. Her Eurydice, honestly, is so important to me. She's just stunning. She's a star. I'm so happy she's nominated for the Tony. She is everything that you could ever want in this role and that you could ever want from a leading lady on Broadway. She's everything. I know that this review hasn't honestly been that coherent, but like, that should tell you in itself, like, that is the review, that Hadestown is so good that it's hard to be coherent about it. It's stunning. It's everything that you could ever want from a musical. If you liked The Great Comet, definitely go see this. But even if you didn't, I think you might still like this anyways. I think I can say without a doubt, I think it's the best thing on Broadway right now. So get your tickets quick. They're going up in price and they're selling out. I hope to see it do super, super well at the Tony Awards, and I hope to return to see it again very soon, because I feel like it's probably one of those shows that every time you see it, you would uncover a different layer. The whole cast is stunning, the design is stunning, the direction is out of this world, the music itself is gorgeous, and so is the book. I can't say enough good things about this musical, which is why, like, this musical literally brought me back to YouTube. Let me know if you've seen Hadestown here, or off-Broadway, or in the UK. Because I'd love to talk about Hadestown more in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel, because I am back, people, and we'll hopefully have more videos for you very soon. Bye! Hadestown, way down under the ground. There we go. What if I did the whole review like that?